Greetings, my name is Marin Patterson, and we're going to start off by importing some audio files for some film scoring. So let's dive into Pro Tools and let's get started. First off, you see here on our desktop, we're going to jump over here, and I've already placed two folders. So the other studio gave us two folders containing the scores for each project. Inside of the folder, as we open it up, you will notice that it has the title of the particular project, and inside of there we have all of these lovely audio files. And what we're going to do is import them to set up for our mixing and editing session in Pro Tools. So let's close this down and let's jump over to Pro Tools, get started here. And we're going to go ahead and launch our Pro Tools. And as that launches, we will be prepared to dive in and create a new session. So at the top here, we can see that we want to create a session, of course, compared to the project files. We're going to just go ahead and do a session. And I'm going to title this one Film Score 1, just for simplicity's sake here. Of course, comparing to the score version 1. And you'll notice over here, it asks us, hey, do you want to create from a template? So we have all of these lovely templates in here, but what we're going to do is start off with an empty session. And when we bring our audio files in, it's going to build our mixer for us. So from there, we'll just drop on down. And the file type, of course, we want to stick with the .wav audio file format. And 24-bit is fine for this session, and we'll just stick with the basic general parameters here, 44.1 CD quality, which is fine. Now, of course, if we're going to do film or DVD or Blu-ray, etc., we would really want to jump up to 96K and etc. But just for now, just so you can get an idea, we're going to stick with the entry level template settings, so to speak. And the input output settings, we want to select stereo mix for now. Of course, we could make adjustments, and go into surround sound and so forth and so on. But for right now, just for entry level understanding, we're going to do stereo, which would be left and right output. Then down here, it prompts us, hey, where would you like to store these at? So for us, you see users, Marin Audio, and desktop, which means, hey, we're going to save this right on top of the desktop. Now, the reason why I'm doing this as opposed to an external drive or something like that is just so you can get an idea for the screen recording, and we can see exactly how it generates our file structure and so forth. So we'll stick with that. We'll go down here and select Create, and Pro Tools pops open for us. Now, before we dive into this stuff, you notice right over here on the side, it created a film score folder for our project. Inside of that folder, it has our audio files, our bounced files, the clip groups, of course, the project file, so to speak, our Pro Tools project template file, and then video if we import any video and session backups and so forth, and of course a cache. But for now, we're going to leave that the way it is. And inside of Pro Tools over here, we have our lovely arrange window up here, and then our mixer window in the background. Of course, you notice that they're empty. And what we're going to do is import. So we go up here on the taskbar, and we go right over here to File, and we see Import here. And we're importing audio files. If you recall from the score_1, there was a listing of audio tracks, so that's what we're going to input. Select audio, and this handy dandy menu opens, and in here you see we have version 1, which is this folder here on our desktop. So we will open that. Inside of there we have our project title. Inside of there, we have all of our audio files. So I'll select the first one, and you notice over here it puts it in there as indicating it's selected. And you can add it to the clips that will be imported, or you can copy it. Now, for our sake, we're going to copy it because as we progress through our editing and mixing session, we may do some adjustments, and it's possible sometimes you might want to do some destructive editing to the file compared to non-destructive. So we're going to create a copy of them so we can maintain our originals in case we want to go back and start from scratch or send it to someone else or something to that effect. So we'll go right ahead and copy it over. It puts it in there. Now I just did the single just so you would have an understanding that you can select singular files compared to just selecting everything in the listing. So I clicked on the top one, and I'm going to hold the shift key and click on the bottom. Selects all of the remaining files because again we've already imported that one or selected it for import. So now we're selecting the rest, and I'm going to say copy all. But before I do that, just in case you are not familiar, if you're going to import some audio files and you're not sure which one you want, and we'll just say you want to listen to it or preview it. So you can go down here, select the one you want, and hit play, and it'll actually play that audio file for you so you can get an idea of which ones you want. But since we know that we want them all, we're going to go ahead and select copy all, and everything's placed in the import bin. So we're going to go ahead and hit done, and it'll begin to ask us, hey, well, where do you want to put all of these after we copy them over for you? And you notice we have our film_1 folder, which was created here on the desktop, and it is opened up, and then it says, hey, let's put those in the audio files folder, because again, these are all the audio files pertaining to this session. So that's a great spot to send them to. So we'll go ahead and hit open, and it begins to copy them over for us. And then it says, well, what do you want to do with these to import them? So we want to import each one into a new track. Of course, we don't have any pre-existing tracks in here, so we wanted to create a new track for each one. And the location is we wanted to place them at the start of the session. So it's going to put them all right at the beginning of the 0 marker. So we hit OK. And you notice everything imported into its own corresponding track, and they're all right at the 0 marker for the start of everything. If we hop over here to our mixer window, again you can see that it created all of the corresponding tracks for each one, and everything is set and ready to rock and roll. So again, we've imported our audio files to prepare for our film scoring, editing, and mixing session in Pro Tools. Again, this is Marion Patterson. Thanks, and get ready so we can dive into the mixing.